Prabhupada's quote for today. Today, 22nd April. Prabhupada has written from Melbourne on 1976 of April 22. Nowadays, people are very fond of diving within the water and swim. This has become a fashion. This has become a fashion. So next life, they are going to become fish. Yes, if you, at the time of death, if you think of that, how to swim very nicely within the water, that means next life, nature will give you a fish life. You get it. That is God's mercy. Why you artificially try to become a fish? You become actually fish. That's nature's gift. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Prabhuji hasn't joined it. Anyone would like to introduce themselves till Prabhuji joins? Okay, otherwise, we'll chant till Prabhuji comes. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji is joined. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for giving us your valuable time and association. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. I once again welcome all of you to this Bhakti Sangha Japa conference call. So today's session will be given by His Grace Ramgiridhari Prabhu on the topic of Sri Caitanya Bhagavat, Madhya Khanda, chapter 23, verses 336 to 351. Hare Krishna. Over to you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Dhanavad pranams, all goes to Prabhupada. And I'm logging in from Madurai.
Hare Prabhu.
My monthly visit time. So we had an interesting day of meetings today. And now we will have some Gaur Katha. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Jaya Jaya Shri Caitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Jaya Shri Caitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. So we are reading from Madhya Khanda, chapter 23, titled Wandering About Navadvipa on the Day the Lord Delivered Kazi. From 336 to 351, we will read and then go over the verses. Nagariya sakelera unmada dekiya, mara e pashandi saba jwaliya puriya. As the atheists saw the maddened condition of the townspeople, they burned with envy. Sakala pashandi meli, gane mane, goshai karena, kajai se ekhane. The atheists all simultaneously desired, if the Lord is willing, let the Qazi come now. Kotayaya Ranga Dhanga, Kotayaya Dhaka, Kotayaya Nata Gita, Kotayaya Jhanka. Then what will happen to all this pomp and fun? What will happen to the loud screaming? What will happen to the dancing and singing? And what will happen to their big show? Kotayaya Kala Pondha Ghata Amnasaram Esha Kala Vanchera Shoditava Tabedaram. Then what will happen to their banana trees, water pots, and mango leaves? Then they will receive a suitable reward for their threats. Yatadeka Mahatapa Deyuti Shakala Yatadeka Hera Sabha Bhavaka Mandalam. The Kashi will see all these big torches and he will see all these sentimental devotees. Gandagola Suniya Aise Kajiya Bhisabharam Gangaya Jhampa Dheki Bhana Tabe. The Kasi will also hear the great commotion and then we will see all the devotees jump into the Ganges. Kehabale Muni Tabe Nikate Takiyam Nagariya Sabha Dena Galaya Andiyam. Someone else said, then I will stay around and bind all these fellows by the neck and turn them in. Text 343. Kehabale chalayai kajira kahite, kehabala yukti nahe emane karite. Another said, let us go and inform the Kaji. Someone else said, that is not very reasonable. Kehabale bai sabha eka yukti ache, sabe rahara diyayai, bhava kera kache. Someone said, oh brothers, I have an idea. Let us quickly approach those sentimental devotees. Aise kariya kaji vajana tolai, tabe ka jana ona rahi betaratai. We will tell them the Kaji is coming. Then not even a single person will remain here. Text 346. Ye mata pashandi pana kaya mane Caitanya ragana mata shihari kitane. In this way, the atheists conspired amongst themselves while Lord Chaitanya's associates became maddened by chanting the glories of Lord Hari. Sabarangete shobhe shichandana malam anande gaena Krishna sabe hai bolam. They were all decorated with the sandalwood pulp and flower garlands. In ecstasy, they all chanted the name of Krishna. Nadiyara ekante nagara simuliyam nachite nachite Prabhu utari laghiyam. As the Lord danced down the road, he came to the village of Simulia, which was situated on the outskirts of Madhya. Text 349. Ananta Arbuda Muke Haridwani Suni Hunkara Kariya Nache Bija Kulamani. Unlimited millions of people chanted the name of Hari as the crest jewel of the Brahmanas danced and roared loudly. Se Kamalanayane Kata Ache Chalam Katika Vadharavahe Parama Nirmala. Who knows how much pure water in how many streams flowed from the lotus eyes of the Lord. Text 351. Kampa bhave ude phade antariksha haite kande nityananda prabhu na pare dharite. Shivering in ecstasy, the Lord jumped high in the air and then fell down. Nityananda lamented because he could not support the Lord. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakayam Chakshurun Militam Menam Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaham Namam Vishnu Padayam कृष्ण प्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यादेशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. It's very interesting that even when the Lord was present, there were people who are or who were creating disturbance and trouble to the Sankirtan mission. It is to be understood that anyone who participates and perform devotional service and contribute for the Sankirtan mission, in spite of all the challenges and obstacles coming their way, they will receive special mercy of the Supreme Lord. Srila Prabhupada says in one place that whoever preaches in those countries where Krishna consciousness is not welcome, he is specifically naming that particular region, Middle East side. He says they are very special devotees and they'll get extraordinary blessings of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. We are going to turn this current context as usual and learn some lessons. It is very wonderful that we get to participate in such services regularly. And whilst I'm in a holy dham of Madurai, just had a wonderful session in the temple right, close by here, and very wonderful association of Vaishnavas. Now this service of glorifying Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is like a cherry on the cake. The very first reflection is about the evil effects of Kali. The Kali Yuga has got some very interesting qualities. It's a very funny combination, but wonderful to note. Kaler dosha nide rajan astiki eko mahan gunaha kirtanat eva krishnasya mukta sangha param raje. Kali Yuga is full of faults. What type of faults? Brahmanas are only namesake and do not follow the principles of being a Brahmana. Rich and aristocratic men are not charitable and do not have any kindness towards the poor, parents, in the name of showing affection towards their own children, they spoil them in the name of providing them with facilities. They destroy the good values, and so on and so forth. So many descriptions are there. But one good quality is that Kirtana Deva Krishnasya Mukta Sangha Param Braje. Anyone who participates, anyone whose name is associated with chanting the holy name of the Lord is already considered liberated. And before the verse that we started, the glories of the holy name, the glories of the devotees who are involved in chanting the holy name, you all would have discussed pretty much in 10-20 shlokas. So in spite of Kali's bad effect, holy name is a very big solace and shelter. How does someone who is having such a bad exposure to the evil effects of Kali then can get rescued without holy name? That's the question being asked. So when the Mahaprabhu's Sankirtan party were going in the streets to distribute, this is the first ever public Sankirtan that Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu is organizing. Caitanya Mahaprabhu is, starting this formal Harinam Sankirtan after all this while he has been doing Harinam Sankirtan only in the house of Srivas Thakur. But now, this is the first public Kirtan. And Mahaprabhu is in transcendental ecstasy. We just heard that how he is jumping up and down and streams of, like a river stream, tears are flowing from his eyes. So we are simultaneously seeing two scenes. One, ecstatic Harinam Sankirtan, and devotees are extremely happy and extremely involved, and they are in transcendental ecstasy. And on the other side, envious miscreants, Kali Chelas, they are constantly trying to demean, depart, completely show the Sankirtan mission down. So we are seeing both the scenes in one place. So my first reflection is to understand how do we recognize Kali. There are many symptoms that are discussed in Kali's behavior, but I want to highlight 3 symptoms. Reason being, those are all self-recognizable symptoms, and the moment we recognize those symptoms, we should become extremely careful and shield us from the situation. It is like symptoms of COVID. It is like symptoms of some specific sickness. If we are recognizing them early, then we will be able to easily safeguard from that disease. So I would like to highlight 3 symptoms of Kali. The first symptom is Kali will disrupt Harinama Sankirtana, both chanting as well as Sankirtan. If we are struggling, if we are not able to participate in Harinama Sankirtana, if our consciousness, if our activities are such that we are not able to participate in Harinama Sankirtana, then we should remember that we have Kali stung us. He has definitely given a prick to us, and we need to be immediately taking some treatment, because Kali will make us stay away from Japa and Sankirtana. The second effect of Kali is that if somebody is influenced by the effect of Kali, then their conversation and communication with Vaishnavas and one another will be in a mode of ignorance, in a sense that a person who is influenced by the evil effects of Kali will talk nonsense, offense, abuse, accuse, misunderstand, misconstrued. These are all effects of Kali. So if two devotees are nicely talking, behaving, and if there is a misunderstanding, suddenly there is a confusion, suddenly there is some, miscommunication, you should know that Kali is trying to trick us here. Kali will disrupt Vaishnava Sangha. He will not let Vaishnavas stay together. Third, Kali will intensify our desires to be involved in sense gratificatory action and give all the necessary justification. So one need to remember that these three symptoms are self-recognizable. Immediately somebody can recognize. As soon as we recognize these symptoms, don't delay, and you should immediately try to take action against such situations. So it is important that when we are practicing Krishna consciousness, practice Krishna consciousness, it is extremely important for us to watch out for these three critical scenarios. If for some reason you are not able to participate in chanting Harinam Sankirtan, if you are not able to participate or able to perform your own japa, if our communication and relationship with Vaishnavas are getting spoiled, if our increased attachment towards sense gratification is increasing further, then we have Kali attacked us. And he is constantly doing that because these three things, meaning intense and focused participation in Harinam Sankirtan, healthy Vaishnava relationship, reduced sense gratification, will make someone so strong. So all these people who are disrupting Harinam Sankirtana, they are all Kali Chelas. Vrindavan Das Thakur is describing about the intense with which they all want to stop the Harinam Sankirtan. We'll discuss that as one of the reflections. So anyway, my point is, as a first reflection, I want to register this, and along with registering this, I want to say that we are all prone to be attacked. Unless and otherwise, we have a strong Vairagya Vidya, Nija Bhakti Yoga. unless we have a very strong conviction, very strong willpower, very strong endeavor to not to give ourselves in to these scenarios, we will have a very unfortunate situation of being a deviant from Krishna consciousness. And please note, this is one of the top most issues amongst devotees today in ISKCON. Relationship between Vaishnavas. I am with all my limited, service opportunities within the moment last 35 years. So many places. So two things are simultaneously happening, as I said. On one side, Harinam Sankirtan is being spread by the glorious surrendered Vaishnavas. On one side, Kali is whacking, coming after us. Between Kali and Sankirtan party. Of course, Sankirtan is winning, will win. But the important data point here is, while Sankirtan will win, we need to make sure we are with the Sankirtan party in spite of all the challenges and threats given by Kali, is what our responsibility is. So all the townspeople, they were with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. They agreed whatever Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is doing is for the welfare of the society and not for some personal agenda. Hell with this, all these NPS people. They could recognize that. So in our own lives also, we need to learn to recognize that what is a well-wishing situation for us and what is detrimental situation for us. Second reflection is about the discussions that is being done amongst these NUS people. Today morning I was giving a Bhagavatam class here in the temple from Srimad Bhagavatam 7.5.37. Beautiful purport, very much relevant in this context. Prahlad Maharaj was questioned by Hiranyakashipu. Prahlad Maharaj was called by Hiranyakashipu, and Hiranyakashipu is making Prahlad Maharaj sit on his lap. And he is trying to cajole Prahlad Maharaj and ask him, my dear son, please tell me, where did you get all this information from? Vishnu is our enemy. You have to support my mission. You are my son. You are my hope. But somehow Prahlad Maharaj was not very much inspired about Hiranyakashipu's proposal. And Prahlad Maharaj gave a wonderful response. As soon as Hiranyakashipu heard those responses, he threw Prahlad Maharaj on the floor. 5-year-old boy who was sitting on his lap, he just threw him on the floor. And he is speaking those words. He is telling that even though the herbs are growing in the forest, they are not of the human race, but because they are beneficial, we bring them from the forest and keep them with us. But in our body, if our own body parts, some of the body parts get infected, then we cut that part and throw them away. So when a good boy is not in my family, but subscribe to my views, the views of parents who gives them everything, he is always considered as our son. And even though someone is our son, but if he is supporting our enemy, he should be completely punished and shown his, way out of the house. And Srila Prabhupada is writing a beautiful purport. In that purport, Srila Prabhupada writes that the same logic Hiranyakashipu is applying towards Harinama Sankirtana, towards Prahlad Maharaj, is applied from a Vaishnava's perspective also. That we don't associate with those who are against Sankirtan mission. And in that purport, one place Prabhupada writes that Hiranyakashipu is justifying his stand by presenting some interesting logic. What all logic is saying? We are your parents. We have been looking after you. We have been taking care of you. You should support. Another logic is, if a body part is spoiled, it's better to throw them away rather than keeping it with us. So my second reflection is, in this current context, all those people who were envious against the Sankirtan mission, they are making different strategies. They are presenting various logics. They are burning with the envy, and they are desiring that somehow or other these Sankirtan devotees get caught by Kazi and be punished by them. They are desiring for Krishna consciousness to be finished. So the reflection here is, sometimes logical reasoning, strategic planning, and friendly behavior amongst such people may sound convincing, but no logic can justify disruption of Harinam Sankirtan. I will give you 4 examples from Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita. How a person who is in illusion, a person who is completely being carried away by mode of ignorance, they present logic to justify their wrongdoing. They do strategic statements, they make strategic statements to justify their wrongdoings. And my reflection here is that in our current scenario, our generation, they are also bringing in logics, logical reasoning, strategic points to disrupt Krishna consciousness in our own homes, in our own society, in our own community. Of late, the younger generation, they are hating, disrespecting, disregarding the Sankirtan mission because they are not able to comprehend the message associated with Harinam Sankirtan. Because they are not able to comprehend, because they are not able to assimilate, they think that these all descriptions are false. I can't comprehend. How can this be true? That's the logic based on which they simply disregard, reject the Sankirtan mission. Hiranyakashipu is one of them. He was talking logics. He was giving reasoning, he was giving justification, he was even emotionally blackmailing, and he was threatening. None of the strategies worked against Prahlad Maharaj. Second example is Kamsa. If you read Krishna book, you will see there is one particular chapter where after Krishna was exchanged, when Krishna was, sent to Gokul, and then when Kamsa got to know the eighth child was born, when he came and saw to his disappointment, the child is gone. Kamsa is giving a lecture on Atma Tattva and Karma to Devaki. It's a very interesting conversation. Kamsa is telling Devaki how they are all spirit souls, body is just temporary, and everybody has to go through the evil effects of one's own karma. He's giving a speech and logically representing how his action, how Kamsa's action against Devaki should not be misunderstood. And it was complete humbug. Third example is Daksha. 4th canto, 2nd chapter. Daksha accused, abused, offended Lord Shiva left, right, and center. He humiliated Lord Shiva publicly. And after making all the statements, Daksha is saying to the general public, please don't think I am envious of anyone. Whatever I said, I am saying for the welfare of everyone at large. Whilst there was no single welfare statement in that, but he was trying to cover his own nonsense by some logical statements. And I want to give one example from even devotees. These are 3 demoniac people who use logic to substantiate, to justify their nonsense. But 4th one I want to give as example as a devotee, Arjuna. Before surrendering to Krishna, Arjuna was giving a logical reasoning why he will not fight. Arjuna was, almost convinced that his conclusion is very noble. Arjuna was almost clear that probably it is just a matter of, communication, information, and maybe permission, and then probably he would be set free. Till Krishna intervened and said, Asosyanan machosatvam prajnavadamscha bhashase katasuna katasuncha nanucho shanti pandita. You are speaking like a great pandita, but it's all complete nonsense, my dear friend. That's how Krishna responded. So my second reflection here is to state that this entire logical reasoning, entire strategic planning, entire arrangements to disrupt Harinam Sankirtan either out of confusion or out of not being very clear or out of enviousness or out of associating with envious people, any one of them in any way to be condemned, and we should be classifying them as Kali Chelas again. In the sense that even if someone is supporting those who support disruption of Harinam, even their association should be given up. What to speak of directly disrupting Harinam Sankirtan. So when they were all going to, chant Gasi, the entire Sankirtan party, the way they were going is, each of them had torches in their hand. And Mahaprabhu was in his transcendental, ecstatic, anger mixed, devotional sentiment there. On one side, Mahaprabhu was extremely angry because the Sankirtan mission were disrupted and Mridangas were broken and devotees were insulted. On the other side, just because the Sankirtan mission has begun, he was in transcendental ecstasy. So my second reflection hence is to say that in our devotional life, many a times we are convincing ourselves by giving logical reasoning and staying away from our spiritual duties. This is also Kali's effect, and such a tendency should be immediately, given up, and we will take shelter of the Sankirtan mission. So these all envious people, by the form of their different enviousness and coming together and trying to accuse, tells that Kali has already made an agenda to spread his wings. If this is a scenario 540 years before or 530 years, 20 years before, what is speak of the scenario now? What is speak of the scenario when Srila Prabhupada went to West? What is speak of the scenario that is going to come up very soon? So we have a significant responsibility to make sure that this Sankirtan Andolan that Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu started 520 plus years before, we should make that torch glow more brighter, more stronger, more intense. That these miscreants, they can be challenged. So, as these miscreants were trying to be envious, the Sankirtan party seemed absolutely undeterred. They were completely in tune with Mahaprabhu's mood, and they were bindas, absolutely, in ecstasy, not getting at all deterred and confused by whatever these challenges were posed. And that brings to the third reflection, the last one for this particular session, is that when someone is surrendered to this process of Krishna consciousness, when someone is part of the Sankirtan mission, it is to be noted that challenges, obstacles, disagreements, and some sort of non-cooperation may come our way, but then just gluing on to this process and taking shelter of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will protect us and will establish pure devotional service in our heart. The third point that I want to say is obstacles on the path of devotional service is natural because we are surrounded by Kali, but those obstacles are not seen as an obstacles, they are seen as an opportunity by devotees. I'll go back again to Prahlad Maharaj, where he completely transformed every problematic situation posed to him against devotional service. He turned them into his favor, or he remained calm and being unaffected. Srila Prabhupada writes in this purport 7.537 that because of the humility of Prahlad Maharaj, Hiranyakashipu couldn't do anything. So these all the Sankirtan devotees, they were able to perform Sankirtan in such a roaring, emphatic, enthusiastic manner because they were humble devotees. So humility happens to be a very important virtue. And humility, in a sense here, is about being strong. So, humility is seen as cowardness. humility is seen as somebody's inability in the modern days context. But here we see these Vaishnavas are surrendered, sincere souls. They are all servants of Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu. So their humility was so intense that no threat could deter them from the process. So from that perspective, humility is strong, strength, power. Humility means one who is simply convinced on the philosophical aspects of it. And humility means devotion. So all these wonderful devotees, they are chanting and dancing and shouting and singing and walking on the streets with the torch because they were all extremely humble, surrendered souls. So my third reflection is that in our Krishna consciousness, whenever challenges are posed, whenever obstacles come our way, whenever we are taken away from Krishna consciousness, our humility, and here humility refers to being strong in our practices, principally driven, and that which is giving birth to devotion. So that is why we were discussing this morning. Wherever there is devotion, you will see humility. Wherever you will see humility, devotion can fructify. Devotion without humility is an irrelevant statement. It is never possible. Because a person who does not have humility, what is humility? In spite of the challenges, in spite of the obstacles, in spite of the disturbances, in spite of all the trouble that we face, never give up attitude, attention to the details attitude, giving credit to our superiors attitude. These are all so many things that are embedded in one word of being humble. Being humble. Because such a quality is non-existent now. Today afternoon, in our regular conversation, Balaram Prabhu was mentioning a point that when Kali is posing a trouble to us, the trouble may come in different forms. The trouble may come in the form of financial trouble, physical trouble, emotional trouble, societal trouble, and different ways problems may come upon us and we may get troubled. But those who are determined to glorify Krishna should use that trouble zone and turn them into favor. And he was giving an example. If you are physically troubled, perform physical service to Krishna. If you are financially troubled, perform financial services contribution to Krishna. Whichever parts of the trouble that you are in. The reason he was mentioning is that I am getting physical trouble because I am not effectively utilizing my body to Krishna. That is why I have health problems. Those who are actively engaged in Krishna conscious service, for them, no health obstacle will stop them from Krishna consciousness. Haridas Thakur was absolutely sick. Caitanya Mahaprabhu is asking, please Haridas, slow down. Haridas Thakur said, no, I am afraid that I am not able to complete the sankalpa that I have taken of chanting 3 lakhs names every day. So a person who is humble and surrendered, no threat, physical threat, financial threat. Sudama had financial difficulty. Kolavitya Sridhara had financial difficulty. Sabari had not so very rich background. So we can give zillion examples where there were people who were financially constrained. And there are people who were disturbed by the families. Raghunath Das Goswami's family were absolutely non-cooperative. Srila Prabhupada's family were not supportive. Ramanujacharya's wife was not supportive. Advaitacharya's some of the children were not supportive. We can go on and on and give so many examples. But none of them deterred, none of them stopped. Rather, it only increased the devotional sentiment. So, my third and last reflection is that when somebody is a surrendered soul, when somebody is not affected by Kali, when somebody is very much subscribing to the process of Krishna consciousness with the tag of humility, which in turn means power, strong, and principle centric, and also where devotion can fructify. Such a person, no obstacles, no disturbances, no challenges will deter them from practicing Krishna consciousness. Rather, they will know to dovetail it back to Krishna, those challenges, and try to make a big win for the devotional service. So it is said that you challenge the challenge by saying, I have Krishna with me, rather than succumb to the challenge and go and cry to Krishna that I have a challenge. So it is extremely important to learn from these episodes that these all people, same scenario was there in Krishna's pastime, where when Krishna was attacked by demons, these Vrindavan Vasis, they were never afraid. They ran towards Krishna and they felt at home, felt at ease. Similarly, these Gaudiya Vaishnavas, these people from Mayapur, Navadvip, they were absolutely ecstatic, chanting the name of the Lord with torch in the hand, but humility in the heart. Their agenda is not to prove a point, their agenda is to establish the Sankirtan mission. It is not a formality, it is not a sentiment, it is not a dry materialistic logic, it is absolute devotion where kayena vacha, manasrendriyeva, buddhyatmanava, prakriti swabhavat, karomi yatyat sakalam parasmai, narayana iti samarpayami. Where the words, body, mind, intelligence, everything is aligned and no challenges, no external sources can come and disrupt. Today, that is a threat for us in communities, that we have some small disturbances, distractions here and there can derail us from our spiritual journey, which is what these pastimes, confirm. And Caitanya Mahaprabhu is participating there and bestowing specialist of his blessings just by the dance. Nityananda Prabhu is feeling, so helpless that my Mahaprabhu is dancing. Not just dancing, is jumping up and down. Which means when challenges come, it is an ecstasy because they are going to show to the whole world to see how this Krishna consciousness is going to overpower those challenges. Vanara Sena did that in Ramayana. Pandava Sena did that in Mahabharata. Vrindavan Sena is demonstrated in Krishna's Vrindavan Leela pastime. And Gauranga Sena is still doing now. Even after 500 years after Mahaprabhu came and left, even till today, Gauranga Mahaprabhu's soldiers, they are going to every nook and corner of the world, taking risks of their life and preaching the Sankirtan mission. And the net result is their life is becoming glorious. Whether it is about preaching in Middle East and Far East countries, or is about preaching in those places where we are not welcome, taking risks. How many stories Indradumna Maharaj has published? Preaching to gypsies, preaching to tribals, risking lives, preaching in places like China where Krishna consciousness is not welcome at all. So the idea is that Vaishnavas are so humble, so humble, so humble that they will not give up, come what may. And their humility is their strength, their humility is their devotion, and their humility is their principles. And with that humility, they will present the Krishna consciousness to the whole world. So my third reflection is about how these Sankirtan soldiers. They are not some ordinary adamant people. They are completely convinced of the Siddhanta. They are completely convinced of the Sankirtan mission. So Chandasi is definitely going to be having an interesting time with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Eventually, they are going to establish and prove the point how when somebody stays with Krishna, they are always victorious, even though apparently temporarily they may be seeing some ups and downs, but eventually the net result is Krishna Das, Dindas, Maya Das, Sada Das. So with this, I will stop here, and just that before we end it, we'll have a quick summary of the lessons that we learned. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Sankirtan mission is picking up its momentum. Mahaprabhu is going to, this is the first public rally of Harinam Sankirtana. At that time, it's a wonderful scene there where envious people are burning, they are fuming, they are so insensitive. They were accusing Vaishnavas. So we had three sets of reflection. The first set of reflection is about the evil effects of Kali. We said that if we get these three symptoms, not able to appreciate, participate, associate, chant, and sing and dance the holy name of the Lord, and when we have misunderstanding, miscommunication, misgivings amongst devotees, so that Vaishnava relationships are not getting matured, and last but not least, the propensity to enjoy materialistic things increases day by day. We need to remember that we are affected by Kali. We are, Kali has stung us. The second reflection is that sometimes we may justify our situation, our derailment, our deviation using logics, using some strategy because of our backing by non-Krishna consciousness Sangha. So those logical reasoning, those strategic planning, those discussions which are detrimental against devotional service are also called Kali Chelas, and one need to know that these challenges, these obstacles that they are trying to create has to be handled differently and not succumb to that. The third reflection is about the humility part of a Vaishnava who takes these challenges and turn them around and try to become Krishna conscious by engaging one's own senses and one's own resources for the Sankirtan mission and eventually winning more and more souls to the lotus feet of Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Chaitanya Bhagavat ki jai, Nitai Gaura Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. If there are any questions, comments, I'll be happy to respond. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much.
What a wonderful class, as usual. Very nice three reflections you gave. At one point you said, I think at the second reflection or something, you said that if we have physical disturbances, we have to physically serve, and if we have financial disturbances, we have to financially serve. So can you elaborate on that point, Prabhuji? I didn't understand that.
The idea is that when Sankirtan mission is being done, someone or the other will, bring in disturbance, and these disturbances are to be used in our favor rather than succumb to that, because sometimes Kali may pose in as a trouble, and sometimes our weaknesses will overpower our desire to practice Krishna consciousness. That's when we should take necessary, what I call as necessary treatment so that we don't succumb to those situations. So what I was trying to say is that in a practicing devotee's life, you may come across many such situations which may be logically convincing. Chalo, let me take a break from Krishna consciousness. Let me take a break from this community. Let me stay away from the community. Let me not even go to satsanga because it's only very problematic people. Or you're only seeing mistakes in everyone, thinking that I am perfect, everybody else is wrong. So this Sangha is not the perfect place for him to say. Some logical, convincing reasoning will stop you from going to a sadhu Sangha, going to a Vaishnava's assembly, going to Harinam Sankirtan. Maybe, okay, I have attended so many Rath Yatras and so many programs. Let me stay at home and probably I will do something better, but no better will happen. Anytime, any thought of disassociating with Harinam Sankirtan and Vaishnava association, 99.99% it is Kali Chela. Seldom it could be because of some other emotions or maybe some other higher principles that might overpower you. But I do not want to talk about that aspect of it because there are devotees who are entering into that zone of samadhi. They also withdraw from worldly things and exchanges. But that's a different league altogether. But mainly, I was trying to say that these challenges and obstacles that when they come our way, it is our duty to take advantage of Krishna consciousness weapon, which is called humility, which is called tolerance, which is called principle centric, and use that weapon to fight against these challenges. Making sense, Mataji?
Yes, Prabhu. So what I understood was when we want to do the Sankirtan, and if you are not able to do, or if some cases, as you said in your first reflection, that we may be attacked by Kali in three ways, we are not interested, or any Vaishnava fights and all those things you were saying. So yeah, so whatever disturbances it comes, we have to move on. So, and one more thing is, yeah, as you said, we do understand that maybe it is because of Kali influence that we are having some misunderstandings also. But when it happens, how to overcome that, Prabhu? Means like how to understand that it must be.
Yeah. Whenever disturbing situation happens, misunderstanding happens in Vaishnava Sangha, please take shelter of higher, sincere, and more advanced devotees and just go by their advice. The reason is that sometimes when the disease is intense, we need specialists. And one of the important solution is to somehow or other, we are put in a protected and conducive Krishna conscious environment. Maybe a Vaishnava may choose to relocate you from this group to another group. That's all, local dynamics. But then being under the care of someone who can assist and look after us in emotional life is very much important. It is like a sick patient who cannot function naturally, needs to go by the directions of the physician and the caretakers. So whenever such misunderstandings, miscommunications come in, there are plenty of strategies and details that can be discussed. Those all will vary from situation to situation, but one common thumb rule is please take shelter of someone who is a well-wisher, at the same time who is neutral, at the same time who is mature in Krishna consciousness to attack these misunderstandings amongst us. We need to always remember that misunderstanding is never one-sided. There is always some contribution or some non-contribution at our end, which we will have to give weightage to also. Okay?
Yeah, understood, Prabhuji. So maybe it is our desire also when it's not fulfilled, and we have that misunderstanding happens also at that point of time, right? So, and one more thing is, we see in material world that so many politics are happening, right? And sometimes there is, we find that some politics is there in even in the association of devotees. How to understand this, Prabhuji? How to
Prabhupada
overcome
says
this?
this. What is understood? This is a fact. Srila Prabhupada is saying Maya is not going to spare our movement also. Maya will take, because the third effect of Kali that I mentioned, the Kali will assume the distracting sense gratification and try to deviate us from Krishna. So we need to remember that when we try to do something good, there is always some envious souls, like how we just read in this pastime. There is always somebody to derail and disrupt us. So it is up to us, it is up to our courage and up to our commitment and up to our surrender to this process of Krishna consciousness. We will be able to fight against. See, the idea is that these misunderstandings or these scenarios in Sadhu Sangha is just situational. They say in general relationship lessons, bad situations always change. Beware of bad people. We generally avoid bad situations or challenging situations, thinking that if I step out of the situation, I will be better off and leave Vaishnava Sangha. That is not very healthy. It is other way around. Rather, we try to take shelter and take a humble position. That's why it is a very tricky situation. It's not a straightforward answer that everybody has to do the same way. But everybody has to understand that when there is a problem at our end also, as much as problem at other end. Seldom 1 or 2 or 5 or 10%. We will be absolutely not committed any mistake. Only the mistake is on the other side. That's a very, very, very rare scenario. But otherwise, any problem, any miscommunication, any misunderstanding, we are equally responsible, answerable, accountable party. So we need to be ready to take that bold stand to correct myself as I am expecting others to get corrected. So it's a very tough call, and that's why we can't take it ourselves. Somebody above us, well-wisher, neutral party, has to help us.
Okay, Prabhu. Thank you. Thank you so much for this wonderful answer. Devotees, any other questions or realizations? Please go ahead.
Haribol Prabhuji, Mataji. May I speak? Dhanvat Pranam Prabhuji. Very nice lecture. Yeah. Very encouraging for all of us who are victims of Kali Yuga. But what I want to say is, despite all the faults of Kali Yuga, there are some situations which are favorable presented by Kali Yuga also. Just recently, we are staying in the city called Las Vegas, which is Striya Sunapana Dvitiyatra Pap Chaturvida. Despite these, their last Good Friday, there is a church here in Las Vegas. They are called Mormons Church. And they somehow heard about our satsang and they invited us on Good Friday to talk about our faith. They were holding interfaith kind of conference and they invited us also. So during that invitation, we chanted to a congregation of about 2,000, 2,500 people, all Christians, And we distributed about 100 small books of Sri Prabhupada, perfect question, perfect answer, like that. And we made all of them hear and chant Hare Krishna mantra. So this was, good opportunity we had. And, we're spreading kind of Harinam Sankirtan to all these other people who are not inimical and very kind of, they want to hear others' view about also like that. So we did that thanks to Srila Prabhupada's mission like that. Thank you, Varam Prabhuji. Haribol.
Very, very, very happy to, hear this, Prabhuji. And in fact, Vaishnavas are extremely smart people. They say in Hindi, Chatur. So they know which situation to be utilized in, Krishna's favor. So they will not utilize it. Is Kali who tried his best, but Vaishnavas like you all have overpowered, and you're right. Even from a very hopeless situation, they'll be able to, bring out Mukam Karoti Vajalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yet Kripada Mahamande Sri Guru Dinadarinam Paramananda Madhavam Sri Caitanya Ishwaram. This is exactly what is happening by this description that we are all doing, that just by the blessings of Guru and Gauranga, we can even transform somebody who is absolutely hopeless. Prabodhananda Saraswati is writing a very nice, poem. Indraduman Maharaj has referred that. How, by the blessings of the Supreme Lord, a person who is hopeless can also be made to become useful in Krishna's service. So all glories to you, Prabhuji. Yes, Kali Yuga, that is a wonderful thing. That's why we said Kalir Dosh Nidhe Rajan in the beginning. And you're all living examples for that. Param Vijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtanam Ki Jai. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, your class was very, very useful and nectarian. I'm actually in the same situation. My family, I'm the only person who's an ISKCON devotee. So your class has actually helped me to, get that inner strength, get that determination. You said vairagya, and how to handle situation where I need to be more humble. Yeah, thank you so much, Prabhuji. It's not just a class, it was such a mind, it was just giving me so much of confidence, your class. And from your class only, I can understand the how much of a fired up devotee you are. So in our satsang, they say that when you hear the words of a fired up devotee, you get fired up. And that is what has happened to me. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
All Gosh Prabhupada, I just want to, say that whatever you just said in terms of Krishna consciousness challenges and how you are, trying to keep it up. Actually, Krishna enjoys these situations. Krishna tries to come closer to these devotees. Recently, 2 Sundays before, 15 days before, I met a disciple of Radhanath Maharaj, a good friend of mine. So he was narrating a statement that Radhanath Maharaj has said. Very profound statement. He said that if Krishna gives you something, he is very kind on you. If Krishna does not give you something, which means he is doubly extra kind on you. It took some time to digest this statement, but the more I am hearing this statement again and again, I was very emotional and said that, wow, what a statement it was. If Krishna is giving you something, he's kind. And if Krishna is not giving you something, which means he's extra kind to make sure that we are very nicely looked after. Maybe if such and such things are provided, we may not be, practicing nicely. So he is trying to be very kind in a different way. So Krishna's kindness is, it's made of a different configuration, not in the manner that we expect, but his kindness works wonder. All glories to you, and wish you all the best for your devotional service.
Thank you, Prabhuji. All glories to my Guru Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Devotees, any more questions?
Hare Krishna.
Or realizations?
Thank you, Prabhu, for the very, very nice class. That
Hare Krishna.
I really, whether it's mental, physical, or financial, when you're in some problem, use the problem in Krishna's service. Especially the mental, I think, is so apt. So thank you so much. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. One
Thank you, Prabhuji.
realization that repeatedly I always want to share in the association of devotees is that let us all build this culture of never give up. If you want to show some arrogance, please show that. I mean, not use the word arrogance in a wrong sense. If you want to show your, courage, boldness, or even toughness, Let us build it up in our never give up attitude. We are going to be whacked. We are going to be taken, tossed up from all the directions. I'm not saying definitely we may, but then one thing for sure, our never give up attitude will actually will make Kali get fatigued. I was talking this morning in the Bhagavata class that the person who is most humble are the ones who are highly difficult to deal with. You can't deal with them. Jagadananda Pandita tells to Sanatana Goswami, saying that, my dear Jagadananda, my heart breaks looking at your humility, because a humble person is so humble that he will not give up and he will not retaliate, in the sense that he will not come and blame you, but he will be steadfastly focused on his agenda, come what may. Not being stupid, but being very prudent. So somewhere or other, if we all as a team of Vaishnavas show this never give up attitude, then Kali will run away. Kali will get frightened. Oh my God, this guy is really challenging. It's like how Srila Prabhupada writes, the determination of a Vaishnava. So I'm praying to all the assembled devotees that this never give up attitude of a devotee, that I will not give up come what may, should be inculcated, because I'm already going through challenges and there will be 100 more that is going to come my way. But I'm sure, with the blessings of Vaishnavas, we will be able to handle them. Hare Krishna, all glories to your appreciations. Any other questions, comments?
We have a comment in the chat box. Prabhuji, Venkatandavika Mataji is saying the thing you quoted, Krishna gives you something, he is kind. If Krishna is not giving you something, that means he is extra kind. Yeah, very beautiful quote. And then Amrita Radhika Mataji is thanking for the excellent session. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. So we do not have any more hand raise or questions. Shumati Mataji is also saying excellent class. Okay. So with the permission, we can end the call here, Prabhu.
Yes, sure.
Hare Krishna. Vancha kalpatrupasya कृपासिन्धुभ्यैव पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय. श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय. His Grace Ramgiridhari Prabhuji की जय.
Jai.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna,
Thank you so
Prabhuji.
much, Prabhuji.
Pranam,
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna,
Thank you for the
Prabhuji.
wonderful
Thank you.
class.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you so much.
Hare Krishna, thank you.
Thank you so much, dear devotees. We'll end the call here.
Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.